At winter solstice, the sun is far, far away. That which reached upwards lies limp on the ground. Leaves are floating in empty space, to be weightless again and again. A man from a nearby town loses his mind. He moves into a shack near a fish pond. He sets up a chair facing east. On the day of winter solstice, the winds start again. The winds come from the west. The leaves of the willows drop to the ground as I pass below. A cabbage has planted itself by the edge of a path. It's Christmas Eve. Sometime after, he who put this chair here between two fish ponds sits down near the proper surroundings for a ceremonious entrance into a time of aimless wandering. Two shrunken pumpkins hung like deflated balloons high up in the branches of a tree. A pusteblume, a lion's tooth, a puff, a floating cloud of seeds. Dekerneled maize cobs blanket the base of trees. Circling my current home, a feeling of comfort as I anticipate the walk down the drive lined with willow trees. A walk that gives joy each and every time. Walking in order to return, to pass through, to walk out, to return again. Winter solstice starts with the longest time of darkness and the shortest day. On the road leading south, to my right, an elderly woman loosens the dry, hardened soil along a row of apple trees. Meanwhile, he who put his chair here ponders the space of indeterminacy. To one side, he'll be able to see the living. To the other, he'll be closer to the peace that resides behind the gates of ancestral paradise. Kernels of corn float at high velocity. On the road leading south, a hive of activity, manuring, collecting maize stalks, digging. 2 rows of apple trees in the apple orchard at the junction have gone. 2.5 rows. The crowns have been chainsawed off and then cut down. The stumps are left in the ground. By late afternoon, on my right, on the road leading north, a young woman digging. To my left, the older woman is still working. In the distance, a large pile of maize stalks has been set alight. On top of the dam, cows are heading home in a line. 2 men with a tuk-tuk are getting concrete slabs from the flower ocean fields. Circling backwards, I squeeze between 2 walls of maize stalks. Circling backwards, I follow the hoofprints of cows walking home. The ditch by the path back to my current home is filled with burnt remnants of grass and stalks. And here we go again, walking down my favorite avenue. At winter solstice, the sun reverses direction. The man who puts his chair here, he with a broken larynx, touches the landscape. A row of saplings has been planted alongside the row of old plum trees. Through the grit, the shadow of a flag, fluttering. The pruned willow branches on the ground have turned beige. Something so loved, I cannot read what. I feel so at ease. The apple orchard has 19 trees left, approximately 65 stumps, and 4 holes where trees with roots have been dug out. Silence except for the sound of water running down the ditches and a dog barking. Between the rows of small young fruit trees, lengths of plastic sheeting are held down with earth. Potatoes. People plant potatoes now. Bright red and white ribbons hold branches of fruit trees in a horizontal position. The red ribbons are torn from wedding scarves, and the white ribbons are torn from funeral turbans. A new orchard on the path to Muyingbai's pigsty, done with so much care. Each tree has its very own hill. The scent of manure. No sounds except for birdsong. The back door to a compound has white banners on either side. Last week I saw people wearing white turbans coming out of the house. The scraping of a pot. Winter Solstice is the beginning of the time of starvation, when animals are slaughtered so they need not be fed. There are many cars at the new house behind the bridge leading out of Funlelsund, and at the house opposite. A woman comes out and invites me to feast with her visitors. It's so mild today. 2 Chinese national flags on either side of a gate to a home. Just before the bridge back to Funlelsund, another new orchard on my left. The trees look so fragile. A woman in festive dress. New fences have gone up at different locations, replacements of old ones rather than new boundaries. By the strawberry plantation, 6 bright canary yellow containers have been placed. Along the further end of the fish pond, concrete slabs from the flower ocean field have been laid. One morning, he who put this chair here was found floating. The owner of the fish pond saw a dark fur in the water. He poked it, and when it turned, there was a face. The face of the man he had asked to leave. The face of the man who had answered in different voices. A face smudged with tears of blood. The maize field to the right of the duck house is under water again. To the left, on the road leading south, a digger and a dumper and a lot of dust. A bridge is strengthened. A road is built to a new fish pond. 7:51 in the morning, it is already light. Wisps of grey weave across the solid-looking clouds. A pink light illuminates the bottom of clouds. It intensifies with every step I take. It reaches the grey weft. Cries alert me to flocks of geese in the sky. The pink has receded. Fewer clouds are colored and the coloring is closer to orange. The landscape is filled with the sounds of dogs and geese and cars. And then again, a lot of color, beige tinted orange. 4 geese to the east, 3 geese to the west. The sound of many more. 6 geese to the west. In the east, the sky has turned golden and then the sky is grey again. Daylight comes before the sun, and once again, all the color has gone. Toward the end of the road, the sound of branches being hacked off. Firewood. A yellow school bus passes by, going west. A man behind a stall with apples. At the adobe workshop, 2 women working. One pushes a sack of concrete up a pile of rubble. 3 people wait for the bus to Lijiang. A truck is parked below the highway. It feels cold. Turning into the path to the gold bridge, I see. How does it work? The E-village and the mountains in the west are bathed in sunlight. The sun has not risen yet. It is rising, birds are chattering, and then it is 8:55, 8:56 at the gold bridge. A man pushes a bike up the bridge. A child sits in the trailer. The man mounts the bike and rolls down toward the village. The sound of children at school. Young peach trees with tied down branches. The bell of the school. 2 tuk-tuks with children pass as I ride. The entrance to the house with a new yellow extension has bright red banners and a large red cloth overhead. By the maize garage, a tuk-tuk, a car, 2 small ones, and an argument between husband and wife. Pomegranates hung off their tree like Chinese lanterns. A humming sound approaches from behind, red lights flashing. A car passes slowly and turns right. By the time I reach the turn, it is out of sight. The padlock on the door to the old man's house is unlocked. The pumpkins have gone. The road by the greenhouses has been cemented. A chilly wind from the northwest. I'm so exposed on this new road that hovers above the fields. The road here and the newly tiled kitchen floor back home. The loss of compacted earth, carrying, bouncing, warming me. A man prunes. A woman sprays the trees white. A dog follows me barking. I shout, "Fagua!" It stops and pretends to sniff the ground. A man in a furrow. Only his upper body is visible, digging out yam roots. A woman takes down the yam poles above ground. Another morning, 8:54 a.m. A soft layer of frost on the ground. Clouds, the shape of the mountain range below, cast their shadows. Shadows that choose a different direction, that lift themselves from their source and float off. The little house by the suicide tree, where lovers ended their life during the early part of the last century, has been painted yolk yellow. I walk past the pile of rocks in front of the temple. The bus passes by, empty. Halfway below the mountain line, a bank of thick fog mimics its contours. I recall being told of the boy who drowned by accident many years ago. 1 week before his death, he saw a big black snake amongst the rocks here. Up on the ridge of the mountain, I feel something bigger than me has walked through the grass since I last came here. After the winter solstice, the sun is drawing closer. He who drew us here disappears softly. Soil molds itself around my boots. A thick clay sole attaches itself. I find some water to release it. Below me the stream at which another young boy, the future father of the drowned boy, had gone fishing with his granddad. Suddenly the water jumped out at them, an earthquake. By the field with scarecrows, a chair occupied by a large teddy bear. I cross the dam and decide to follow the new fence. 2 openings have been cut through it. At winter solstice, the sun is reborn and brings growth to lives with anguished histories.